Idil Abdullahi Goley's journey seeking a better life in Europe started in Somalia with a $6,500 payment to local smugglers. It ended a month later with fellow migrants around her dying at sea, one of them screaming and reciting the Muslim profession of faith. The deaths of 25 migrants last month in boats off the Indian Ocean island of Madagascar brought to light yet another route that some in Africa are taking in dangerous bids for Europe. Goley was one of the 48 people rescued. She spoke to the Associated Press about the journey that thousands of Somalis embark on every year as extremist attacks and climate shocks destroy hopes and livelihoods at home. Some Somalis head for the Gulf countries via the Red Sea and Yemen. Others, like Goley, gamble on a longer sea voyage south, toward the French island territory of Mayotte in the Indian Ocean, the poorest territory in the European Union. Somalis are among an estimated 100,000 migrants living in Mayotte, according to French authorities. The migrants are part of communities affected after Cyclone Cheeto leveled entire neighborhoods on December 14th. The International Organization for Migration has estimated that 2 million people migrated from Somalia in 2021 in search of work, the latest data available. Children left behind. Goley, 28, heard about the smugglers from friends who had traveled the route and raised the $6,500 fee from her small tea shop business in the capital, Mogadishu, and from her brother and mother. She hoped to reach Europe and pay them back. She left her 3 small children behind. Her journey began with a flight from Mogadishu to Kenya's capital, Nairobi. Then she and others took a bus to the port city of Mombasa, where they set off in fishing boats for Mayotte, more than 620 miles, 997 kilometers, away. They hoped to request asylum there. After 3 days at sea, the group of about 70 migrants was transferred to smaller boats, whose engines started to fail. The smugglers said they would fix the engines and left with them on another boat, leaving the migrants drifting without water and food. They started catching fish and collecting rainwater to survive. It was nearly cyclone season, and waves were choppy. Goley said she tried to save the life of an infant whose mother was also on board but struggling. But she died right in front of me. We couldn't hold on to her body for long, and had to throw it into the sea to prevent it from decomposing, as more people perished around us, she said. During 13 days of hunger, thirst, and heat, Goley's 2 friends also died. She held one in her lap as she passed. The other screamed for help. I couldn't help her and she died shortly after, crying out loudly, reciting the Shaida, Goley said. That is an image I will never forget, the suffering and helplessness we felt. She said the ordeal ended when a fishing boat appeared on the horizon and the survivors waved for help. They offered the fishermen $100 for their rescue and were taken to a sports facility in Nosy Be in northern Madagascar. The migrants were repatriated in early December by chartered plane. Back home, Goley's mother had feared the worst. Unable to eat, she had lost 20 kilograms, 44 pounds. When I returned home, my mother couldn't believe it until she heard my voice and saw me in person, Goley said. Another attempt. As she and the other survivors arrived in Mogadishu, the Somali president's special envoy on refugee affairs expressed hope for their future and said the government would help. They assured me they will never take the same risk again, Marian Yassin said. But Goley said she plans to attempt another journey on the same route, despite having nightmares about her ordeal. The hardships in Somalia are still the same, she said, and she did pay the smuggler's fee. Even if it leads me to prison, I believe I'd still find a better life than the one I have here, she said. Her mother, meanwhile, fears this time she will never return. Other survivors are undecided as they mourn. Ahmed Hussein Mahadal, 26, had watched helplessly as his sister Hanan, 21, died. Nothing compares to the pain of it, he said. His other sister, Haboon Hussein Mahadal, was grateful for her brother's safe return, though he also has plans to try again. Hanan was courageous and vigilant. She met her fate with grace, Haboon said, in tears. They say good people don't stay long, and my sister embodied all the qualities I can't begin to summarize,